Okay, I like this idea. ARPON BASU, thank you for going out there and talking about this, because today we are heading over to the most recent episode of the BASU and Godin Notebook. Because when it comes to what was talked about on the most recent edition of the podcast, we had ourselves ARPON BASU share a very interesting thought in regards to a player that the Montreal Canadiens might be able to grab. So, because you have eyes, I think you probably do have eyes. If you don't, then I apologize, but because you have eyes, you saw the title, you saw the thumbnail. Today we are talking about Tyler Toffoli. Let's go, baby. Holy moly, Tyler Toffoli, macaroni and cheesy-oli. Because when it comes to Toffoli, he is set to becoming a free agent this summer. And by the time July 1st rolls around, we should have ourselves some sort of a bidding war that ends up transpiring, a whole bunch of different teams probably going out there and targeting this guy. Toffoli, if you wanted the scoop, he's 32, 6 feet, 196, right-handed guy, and he had just wrapped up that $4 million+ contract with a 55-point season in 79 games played. Definitely not a bad year. It's not as good as the 73 points he had posted up last season, 34 goals in 82 games with the Calgary Flames, but Tyler Toffoli is indeed still a good hockey player. He can score goals, he can make plays, he is a two-way force, and he may not have the fastest foot speed in the world, but he makes up with that with literally everything else about his game. Let's go over to this article published on Marquee.com that goes out there and cites the BASU and Godin Notebook podcast. Big return of Tyler Toffoli with the Canadiens announced soon, something new. The title doesn't really matter, but the article will be linked in the description if you want to go ahead and see more of this scoop. During a recent interview with Pierre LeBrun, the GM of the Canadiens, Kent Hughes affirmed that he could strike a big blow on the free agent market in order to bring a top 6 forward to Montreal this summer. The article then brings up how Tyler Toffoli could be seen as one of these ideas, because right now, he actually is in Ireland for Jake Evans' wedding. He's there with Joel Edmondson. It's kind of funny, the video is on Twitter, posted by Habs on Reddit. However, that's not all. During the latest episode of the podcast BASU and Godin Notebook, the journalist at The Athletic indicated that a reunion between Toffoli and the Habs would be a good idea, especially if he agrees to sign a 4-year contract. ARPON BASU believes that Kent Hughes must at least inquire about the salary demands of Tyler Toffoli and then see if common ground is possible between the two parties. Here is the ARPON BASU quote: Tyler Toffoli has proven over the last few years that he is a remarkably consistent goal scorer. He exceeded 30 goals in his last 2 seasons, which constitutes his 2 best seasons in terms of goals. Plus, I think Tyler Toffoli enjoyed his time in Montreal. Maybe the Canadiens could make it work. 4 years isn't an exaggeration, although I do think it's a bit longer than what the Canadiens would like for a UFA player. If he's willing to go to a 4-year deal, then yes, Kent Hughes should at least inquire to see if they can find common ground to bring him back to the Habs. Now, before we expand more on what this article goes out there and writes about, I gotta say, 32 years old, 4 years long, I feel like that's honestly not that bad. For Tyler Toffoli specifically. Mostly because, I get it, you could say that 4 years for a 32-year-old, taking him till he's 36 is not the best idea in the world, but you think about how players age in the NHL, and you talk about what diminishes as they get older. Normally, it's their foot speed, it's their engagement in play, and to an extent, it's some of their awareness. Guys that can put the puck in the back of the net don't all of a sudden lose the ability to put the puck in the back of the net as they get older. It's more so everything around the game. You know, the hands are still there, you know, the shot is probably still there too, but awareness, the way the game evolves, and everything else between that, that's what changes. There still are guys who have aged well into their mid to late 30s who could produce points and who could score similar goals like they had done when they were younger. For example, Thomas Vanek, Vancouver Canucks. This is a really weird, out-of-pocket example, but Thomas Vanek was super good with the Minnesota Wild, with the Buffalo Sabres. He was all over the place, but by the time he was in Vancouver, the guy was already in his 30s. He was a lot older than when he was in his heyday, but he could still find himself on breakaways and scoring on those breakaways with slap shots. He did that as far back as 2017-2018. He was 34 years old in that season. Guys whose skill sets and defining qualities are not necessarily correlated with their foot speed tend to age a lot better into the NHL. And for a guy like Tyler Toffoli, who is really smart, who is capable of playing a solid defensive game whilst putting himself in positions to get pucks and get one-timers on goal, who could also snipe it once in a while too if you give him the space, a guy like that is not going to phase out quickly. He's not going to hit 33 years old and then all of a sudden, boom, he's no longer effective at the NHL level. Like, he still has value way beyond his mobility. That's like the only knock on Tyler Toffoli. And so as he gets older, I'm kind of thinking, how could his skating and everything get any worse when it's already not the best? Like, he's more or less what he is, and he's smart enough to be able to adjust to his lack of foot speed to be able to still have success and put himself in the right areas and make plays. Tyler Toffoli is one of the weirdest players in the NHL today, I'd say, when it comes to the combination of skills that he has. And so even though he is 32 years old, the fact that he's still producing some of the best numbers he's had in his entire career, forgive me for saying this would be a really good addition to a Montreal Canadiens team that is younger, they're trying to get more competitive, they need more guys who can put the puck in the back of the net, and they have a cast that Tyler Toffoli already likes. Everybody likes this guy. He likes the Habs, he's there in Ireland, he's there participating in the wedding, he's having a good time. At least according to the video, it looks like they're having a good time. Who knows? I'm not going to speak for him, but still, that's what it looks like. So all signs point to the idea of Tyler Toffoli actually being a good idea for the Montreal Canadiens. The question is, though, whether or not Kent Hughes will explore it. BASU is saying he should, and of course the fact that it's even being talked about on the show is a good thing. ARPON BASU is definitely no slouch when it comes to Montreal Canadiens reporting. Of course, there's a difference between him saying something is going to happen and him just bringing it up on a podcast, but then again, being able to bring it up, he's kind of in a position of authority, so I think this is a great idea regardless. Let's go back over to the article and read what the conclusion is here. Personally, I tend to agree, the writer of Marquee.com's article over here, I tend to agree with Arpon Basu's opinion, especially if the Canadiens are unable to make a trade to acquire a top 6 forward between now and the draft. After all, although the organization wants to get younger, it is essential that Kent Hughes adds good veterans if the team is to have success in the playoffs in the years to come. In addition, even if Tyler Toffoli has just celebrated his 32nd birthday, he is still capable of contributing offensively, having had his 2 best seasons in terms of goals in 22-23 and 23-24. So I'll leave y'all with that. I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Also linked in this article is the video interview of the BASU and Godin notebook. It's on SBDP and it's on their programming over there, so everything is available in the description if you want to listen to that yourself. But let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Tyler Toffoli, yay or nay? This is the kind of guy that if you put him on one wing and you put Newhook on the other wing, I think their mobility cancels each other out. You get a net neutral because Alex Newhook is a really fast skater. He's really blitzful when he gets going. Tyler Toffoli is like the opposite, and I think that would complement each other very well. One guy can speed in, get the puck, and throw it over to an open wing, and Tyler Toffoli can be in that open wing to snipe pucks in. And if everything falls apart, you've got that big tower of a middle center in Kirby Dach to take things away and continue cycling the puck around. It's a pretty interesting idea. I would like to see a top 6 like that. Imagine Cole Caulfield, Slavkovsky, Suzuki, and then you have Toffoli, Dach, and Newhook. Not to mention a Caden Lindstrom or whomever if they end up drafting him, but either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Tyler Toffoli and the idea of him returning to the Habs. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.